Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's nice to see you. My name is Dustin Cormier. Welcome to How to Rock Astrology. Today's episode, we're going to be continuing our reading of The True Story of the Nakshatra Gods by Vic Dicara from his Nakshatra, The Authentic Heart of Vedic Astrology. Today we're going to be talking about putting a word on the Trinity. What exactly is their role in the Nakshatras, at least giving it an introduction. And then we're going to talk about the first figure in the Trinity, which is Brahma. Brahma relates to the Nakshatra Rohini, as well as the mysterious asterism of Abhijit, which we will talk about now. But first, we're going to talk a little bit about the Trinity. This is our next section of the series. The first chapter is, why aren't they bigger? It's a little bit of historicity on the nature of the Uttara part of the Vedas, meaning the part that was done, the penultimate consolidating part of the Veda, which relates to self-realization. The Trinity, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, why aren't they bigger, quote unquote, at least in terms of the Nakshatras in the original Vedas. The tale of the Nakshatra divinities began with Varuna and revolved mostly around Indra and the Aditya gods of the sky. Yet, when we hear about Hinduism, we are almost always told it is led by an Indian trinity, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. If these three are so important in Hinduism, why didn't they play a bigger role in the tale of the Nakshatra? The Vedas have two major themes, Purva, initial, and Uttara, or ultimate. The initial themes of the Veda focus on actions or rituals, karma. The ultimate themes focus on knowledge and philosophy, jnana. Astrology, which is Jyotisha, plays a significant role in the initial Purva school, for it enables us to determine when we should perform certain actions and when we should not. On the other hand, Jyotisha played little or no role in the ultimate Uttara school, because that school is relatively uninvolved with ritual and prescribed actions. Thus, the gods of Jyotisha are mainly those that the Purva school considers important, those who fulfill the desires and grant the blessings that ordinary people seek on a practical level, which, ideally in astrology, we abide by until we can become stable in order that we can practice yoga and get beyond those necessary external, situational dimensions of our peace. Thus, the god of the Nakshatra are mainly those involved in marriage, sex, career, wealth, fame, power, and prestige in the Purva dimension. Now, the Uttara school has a very different flavor and focuses mainly on the three superior beings beyond the conventional gods, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, and also on Sarasvati, the goddess of wisdom. Nonetheless, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva do appear in the Purva-oriented texts, where they play more conventional roles. In their nakshatra, they function in the conventional role associated with the Purva approach, which is as a nakshatra, and that's what we're going to talk about. In their supreme roles, we just have to remember, they are associated with the Uttara approach to the Vedas. So, each of these figures actually possesses more than one nakshatra. So, Brahma is the arbiter or the deity of Rohini, and as well the asterism called Abhijit, which is not considered in the typical 27 derivations of the Nakshatras. And we're going to talk about that. Brahma has 2 Nakshatras, and Brahma is our next chapter heading. Brahma has 2 Nakshatras, Rohini and Abhijit. Unlike the other Nakshatra, Abhijit is not near the ecliptic. Its primary star is Vega, which at some points in history is the pole star itself, the northern point furthest from the ecliptic. Abhijit is named along with the Nakshatra because celestial north is an essential point for calculating the borders of the Nakshatra, yet it is not quite a Nakshatra in and of itself. Brahma resides in his full-fledged form as the wisest of all living entities. Brahma means knowledgeable. Brahma resides in his full-fledged form as the wisest of all living entities in Abhijit, signifying the ability to conquer all challenges by virtue of knowledge and wisdom. Abhijit actually means victory. Besides Abhijit, Brahma's primary nakshatra is Rohini. There he is not known as Brahma the wise, but as Ka, the procreator, the foremost Prajalpati, master of procreation, and the most creatively fertile of all beings. Oddly, although the progenitor, Brahma doesn't directly participate in sexual reproduction. A controversial from his early life explains why. Very early in his creative process, Brahma created a tangible, embodied form of the goddess of speech, Vak, and immediately became absolutely infatuated with her. It is completely natural that the god of wisdom will be infatuated with the goddess of speech, because wisdom requires excellent words to express and shape itself. It is also exceedingly natural and understandable that the original procreator, Ka, would be quite interested in procreating. The problem, however, was that the goddess did not feel anything similar for Brahma. "You have brought me into a manifest form," she explained, "so I cannot help but see you as my father. That is why I can't kindle any interest in a romance with you." However, intoxicated by his infatuation, Brahma ignored her words and continued to petition her. Vak continued to resist and began to walk away. Brahma followed. She began to run. Brahma started to run after her, but Vak's brothers intervened and stopped him. "What you are doing is not right," they said. "There's really nothing wrong with the fact that she is your daughter, because, after all, every woman who will ever exist in the world will be your daughter, Brahma. The real problem is that she is not interested in you, but you are forcing yourself upon her. To force yourself upon a woman is a despicable crime." Hearing this snapped Brahma out of his infatuation and filled him with shame and regret. Disgusted with himself and the body he had used to chase a fleeing woman, he cast off that physical body and resigned himself to an amorphous, incorporeal form. Seeing Brahma's sincere penance, regret, and plight, Vak took pity on him and made him a new body, crafting it from the components of language itself. This allowed wisdom, Brahma, to have the integration with words, Vak, that it so passionately sought. Vak agreed to become Brahma's consort in principle, so that wisdom and words could work cooperatively. But she insisted on the condition that she and her husband forever live separately and never have sexual relations. It's interesting that there is inherent wisdom in language and in words. In fact, some people say that not only Sanskrit, but also the verses of the Vedas, including certain particular Vedas, are etched in jade, as the Chinese say, which means that they are eternal. They are not something that we compose. Rather, the verses are anciently inherently in the metaverse. We merely discover them. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was another rendition of our Nakshatra Gods tale. It's an important one, the story of Brahma, the great progenitor. Tune in next time. We are going to talk about everybody's favorite character, the character of Rudra. Well, Rudra might not be the favorite. There's a lot of storminess going on with Rudra, but everyone knows and admires its patron deity, Shiva, the deity of Rudra, who is the deity of Ardra, Mula, and the Bhadrapadas. For now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dustin Cormier for How to Rock Astrology. Hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you on the next one.